Sometimes it'll take. Okay, now we're live. Everyone, this is Big Said. I am back, and I have another. I would say young man, but then I'd be lying, and my mother doesn't like when I lie. So I have another person that's been around since I think he went to school with Jesus, but that's a different story. Once again, it's Big Said, the industry cosign. My friends are better than yours. I am going to give you a brief bio of this person you see on the screen opposite me. His name is Rob Love, Chief Executive Officer of Launchpad Worldwide Inc., which is a excuse me, which is a marketing and promotions company that creates organic strategies and solutions in sports, entertainment, and technology. Rob Love is a music industry veteran and considered one of the most brilliant minds in multicultural lifestyle management. He founded the world famous Def Jam Street Team and has worked with the multi platinum Jay Z, Ludacris, LL Cool J, Method Man, and Redman, branding these artists with the focus of Def Jam. This increased the market share of their parent company, Universal Music Group, by 35%, and it still holds a top position in the music industry. Rob's unique approach to lifestyle marketing and promotions spawned new branding opportunities for transcultural markets influenced by music icons. Fashion, film, and politics have new branding strategies that integrate lifestyle and product marketing intelligence for consumer consumption that defines the trend. Rob's expertise in brand building and increasing the market share has produced the instrumentation that helps clients such as J Records, Sony BMG, Island Def Jam, Universal Music Group, Coca-Cola, HBO, Miller Brewing Company, Nike, Phat Farm, and Viacom networks better with their consumers. And with that, I will introduce this guy who, at one point in time, I mean, my hair is braided right now, but I had a patch, a gray patch right here. He had one, but I don't know, like oh, he cut it down so that way you can't really see because people used to always confuse, him with me, and he used to get mad that people called him Big Said. So, but anyway, Rob Love, welcome to My Friends Are Better Than Yours. How you doing
Thank
today?
you. Thank you, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that you considered me your friend after, that whole mistaken identity case that we had to go through. It was Brenda, Felicia, Aisha, Rhonda, Shonda, LaRonda, and Wanda. They all, thought that um, I was Big Said, you know what I'm saying? So I just glad that we got that cleared up,
Yeah, definitely. You got the dark shades. I got the clear shades. So now we clear it up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, please, you know what I'm saying? If you compare the frames, since we are side by side, we have two different individuals. I'm hairless,
And I
he's
have
with
much.
hair.
I don't even know how to shave, but that's another story. But
I'm gonna give you a tutorial after this, man.
okay, thanks. I appreciate that. So as most people that view this, they know that I like to just basically get out of the way whatever. I mean, I want people to know who you are, and then like I said, go into whatever conversation it goes into. But like, of course, you have Launchpad, and you've worked at Sony BMG, Def Jam. I mean, if you consulted for many other companies as well. Why don't you let people know, like, I guess how you got your start in the industry, and what led you to, I guess, get to where you are now with your company, and how long it's been around, and things of that nature.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that question. I got my start and I cut my teeth in this business, actually helping artists. I thought I was an artist at first, growing up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And I realized that there was other artists that had better lyrical skills than me. And I used to go to the park jams, and I used to see how the MC would rock the crowd, how the DJ was playing the records that created the vibrations, and and the rappers started putting records or these routines um, on wax, and it started to become a real business model. It started to shape up. It was a hobby at first. We was just enjoying to do it, just to pass the time, just to, to show that we had lyrical skills, just to show that we were talented and we were creative. And it was just a vibe that was inside of me. So when I realized that I wasn't as good of a rapper as some of the other guys, I just decided to help them out. So I would say, hey man, you got a show at the Armory or at the Fever or whatever. Let me help market it. You know what I'm saying? So I help get the word out. So I started passing out these, handwritten flyers for artists, and taking their vinyl around, talking to the DJs and encouraging them and inspiring them to play the music. And from that, I financed my way through college by throwing, house parties, which led to concerts, which led to uh, working. Um, I went to Norfolk State University, so behold the green and gold, Spartans for life, and that kind of led to me just looking at different other marketing things. And one of the things that kind of stood out the most in that process it was me and a couple of other friends of mine. We got together and we said, yo, you know what? We should just start running buses to King's Dominion and right outside of Richmond, Virginia, on this particular weekends and create this thing called College Day or College Day at King's Dominion, which eventually morphed into BET Spring Bling because, we built it so much. And, one of the things that I learned in that process is I learned the power of advertisement and I learned the power of marketing. And what I did was in any of the promotions that I've done, I always attached a consumer product or a brand to it. Say, for instance, Dunkin' Donuts, right? So in promoting these college weekends and providing transportation, I would put like the Dunkin' Donut, presents, College Day at King's Dominion, and I would market it that way, not having a relationship with anyone at Dunkin' Donuts, not knowing anybody from Dunkin' Donuts. In fact, my boy worked at Krispy Kreme, and I actually got the Krispy Kreme donuts from him. So I was like, free continental breakfast for the trip. So people would come there early and get, some orange juice, some donuts, and some coffee, right? But the smartest thing that I did is I bought overnight spots on the radio for like $5, a spot, right? So I was running these spots that started at 12 and went to like 4 in the morning. So the morning of the event, I come out to the location super early, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts truck out there pouring coffee and giving people coffee and donuts. And I'm scratching my head because I got a whole bunch of Krispy Kreme donuts in my hand. And I'm like, yo. So no disrespect, Krispy Kreme. I threw the Krispy Kreme donuts in the bushes, and I walked over to the guy in the truck. And I'm like, hey, man, you from Dunkin' Donuts? He's like, yeah. I said, well, what are you doing here? He's like, I don't know. My boss heard the shit on the radio. He told me to get my ass over there. And boom, here I am. Coffee and donuts. And I'm just like, yo, so I just got benefits by default by using airways advertisement. So that just always put the bug in my mind that, to commingle and co-market, my events with a sponsor that could take, that can elevate the experience. So, so by doing that, and then, I had a good friend of mine, rest in peace to my man Daddy Yo, from Brooklyn, and he kept telling me all the time, yo, man, my cousins, man, from Staten Island, man, and then Wu-Tang, and they got these, they dope, and I'm like, who? He's like, yo, Wu-Tang. I'm like, who calls himself Wu-Tang? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, son, I'm telling you, man, they gonna be big, boom, boom, boom. So I was like, all right, well, let me hear something. So he let me hear Protect Your Neck. And then, ironically, I got a call from Steve Rifkin, and he was like, yo, we want you to, to work this, Protect Your Neck record. So I started, because I have relationships in radio and retail and all that stuff, so I started working with Wu-Tang. And Loud had hired me, and then Tommy Boy had hired me, and then Virgin, and then Job, and oh man, just I was like probably one of the only guys that had all that consulted all the labels at the same time, unbeknownst to them. I was on everybody's team, catching those checks independently, and It was a great moment. And then, then I got the call from, to come and run, the promotions department for Def Jam. And the rest has been history. And from Def Jam, I went over to Sony with Clive and at J Records. And, I've been marketing and promoting artists for years, decades.
Being that you've been doing it for so long and got that start, like what crosses your mind whenever you're approached by a client or you want to approach a client? Like, what is the mindset when it comes to like marketing, particularly someone or something new that the marketplace hasn't gotten a chance to witness? Like, what what's the mindset that gets you to get to the right angle to get people to pay attention to what you're bringing to them?
Well, first and foremost, like anything else, man, you got to believe in the product, right? You got to believe in the people that stand behind the product, and you have to understand what they're, what they are. You know what I'm saying? And you got to share the vision. Um, if you can't see it and you can't achieve it, you know what I'm saying? Even if it doesn't exist. And a lot of times, and I like projects that are challenging in that respect. So the advice I do have for people is to dream really big, think outside the box, look towards the universe. If you shoot for the universe and you fall amongst the stars, you're still, above the earth. Just to also make sure that you have the resources, um, and you got the right team around you that believe in you. Because if there's 1 ounce of doubt, then that can hurt the whole project. You know, um, so I do encourage and inspire people to um, know what it is that they have, talk to people that they can share the vision with, and listen to the people that may have something that can elevate the vision.
What gets you excited about a project?
Uniqueness, um, the passion that the principal carries with the project, right? I can't be more excited for you about your project than you are about your own project. You know what I'm saying? Some people just think, I went in the studio and I laid this as a hit and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Here, I'm going to serve it up to the world. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let that do what it do. No, you got to be excited. You got to wake up every morning and say, I'm doing 10 things for this project right now. And I'm going to find 10 people that's excited as this project as I am. And I'm going to ask them to lock arms with me. And, and Red Rover, bring anything right over. And let me or let us break through to places that we are not considered that we should be.
Yeah. Now, I know that well, I've known you for about what 2 weeks now. So, um, why don't you let people know that the few people that may not know or may not have heard of you, some of the projects that you have worked on over the years, because I'm pretty sure that they've recognized some of the things that they've seen that you spearheaded, but don't know as we're talking right now.
Oh, well, I can really honestly say
Go back
that,
as far as go back as far as you want.
oh man, as far as I want, wow. Um, I would say that I'm probably I'm not the founder of organic marketing as it relates to street teams, but I would say that I had a tremendous impact on how to market uh, product, not just artists. It could be
Yeah.
athletes, it could be, clothing, apparel, it could be artists, it could be books, films, TV. Um, I think that I've made a contribution, a tremendous impact and a contribution to that, to the marketing spectrum. Uh, as I alluded to before about, college day at King's Dominion, morphed into BET Spring Bling.
Yeah.
Um, my first annual Positive Image Rap Awards that I did with the Urban League of Hampton Roads and McDonald's, back when I was still in college at Norfolk State, morphed into the Source Awards because we had no award show that celebrated hip hop. You know, hip hop or rap was getting a bad rap at that time. You know, and if it wasn't for Luther Campbell, Uncle Luke, and some others, and Queen Latifah, and some others that that really advocated for hip hop, and Chuck D and Public Enemy, advocating for hip hop being a positive force and the voice of the youth culture, we would still have that, and there's still some black clouds over hip hop in the hip hop culture, still to this day, right? So it's still an ongoing battle. But, doing the first Positive Image Rap Awards, which inspired, I would say inspired, because there was nothing like that exists. The Source Awards. What else I can say? Everything from developing Joe Buttons and giving Joe Buttons opportunities to get on the radio and start talking to people on the air versus making music. And we all know where Joe Button sits now to this day. So I had an intricate part in that. I had an intricate part in Keith Murray's career early on, even before I came to Def Jam, when he signed to Jive. And then he became a Def Jam artist. So I've worked really closely with him and everybody from LL, Jay-Z, Red and Meth, just, like I said, another example of sharing a vision with an artist or a creative to create other creativity is a great example is the Redman mascot. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Redman mascot, but that came out of a conversation with Reggie and I in my office, and me secondhand smoke content, looking at that poster saying we're going to bring that guy on that poster to life and creating a life size mascot. And that inspired Jermaine Dupri with the So Def doll, and the bear from College Dropout, and Kanye, and what I'm saying. So it's just a whole bunch of things that seeds that were planted, wrapping the tour buses and really kind of killing the marketing game like that, and then also cross-pollinating music and film and television, doing product integrations, what I'm saying, giving away beepers on Hot 97 before people even knew what two ways were, and just integrating that into the videos, right? Integrating, Mystic and Snapple and other beverages into videos. So people are starting to, which, ultimately bred into, seeding Phat Farm and seeding Baby Fat and seeding Fubu and seeding alcohol, Belvedere and Cavassier. We did an amazing Cavassier campaign. A lot of people don't know, but you're gonna, do your history about the Cavassier campaign. Even though we don't get the credit for it, we started. Actually, it really kind of came from me, because me, Russell, Ann Simmons, and Stephanie from Cavassier had a meeting. And the meeting was like, okay, Hennessy is the number one. They're number one in the market share. How can we compete against Hennessy? And my strategy and what I explained to them in that meeting shifted the cognac business over to increase Cavassier's market share in that space. And this was before the Pastor Cavassier record, right? And this is before Puff and them got involved with it. I initiated a Cavassier seeding program, where we went into every studio where artists were recording. We put Cavassier in those studios. I mean, I'm quite sure probably part of the reason why the Cavassier was in the studio when they said Pastor Cavassier is because of my initiative,
Yeah.
and uh, just having product mentions, product integrations. We did a thing with Phat Farm. We had Cavassier Napoleon sweaters, Phat Farm sweaters and jackets, and we did a mixtape. All this stuff you can research and Google. You'll see those are actual and factuals. Those things came out before the Pastor Cavassier record exploded. So when that record exploded, you got Busta, you got Puff, you got the right, messengers. Of course, it takes off, right? They get the credit. We don't, but we know the story, what I'm saying? So I always like to hear when people talk about those things, but not knowing, say it happened organically, but don't know how it, really happened. So I'm here to tell my story. And a part of me telling my story, and I appreciate this platform set, is because a lot of people don't know a lot of the things that I've done, because I don't go around and splashing it in people's faces. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you got to buy my book. You got to look into, you got to look at the documentary. You got to see, I was part of the Labor Fest committee when kids were going down to Virginia Beach partying, and the riots broke out. I was part of the planning commission. I was intricate, always intricate in the culture and the lifestyle of our people as it relates to music, sports, and technology.
Yep. Now I want to actually I was just thinking about you doing. I know during the pandemic, everybody was just in the house doing whatever or trying to figure out what they were going to do. And even though I didn't jump on it because I just didn't feel like it, but I know you jumped on Instagram and you started your own series behind the records, right? Behind the records?
Correct.
Yeah, behind the
Mm-hmm.
records. What like why did you do that? Like what prompted you to do that outside of being probably bored to your skull because the world was closed, so to speak.
Yeah, I said God. You know what I'm saying? I said it's purely inspirational. Um, we all were sitting at home. I actually kind of asked for the pandemic. I asked for a fresh start for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some good people that deserve to have pleasantries of life, but they don't have opportunity, right? So if we can start fresh and give everybody the same opportunity, we'll have more people that can rise above their current situation and excel in others, right? So as from the pandemic, you know, for me it was the pandemic, right? So I
Yeah,
said, well, my plan is I'm gonna because I've always been the guy behind the scenes. That's why a lot of people don't know a lot of the things that I've done. I've always been the guys that been behind the artists that you see
yeah,
on the screen or on the radio or on the television. I've been the guy behind that, right? So now it's like it's time to, when we were all sitting down, I started looking around, cleaning out the attic and cleaning out the basement, and I'm like, yo, I got these cool little things, man. How do I get all? I collect all of this artifact, this hip hop culture, and then I've started remembering the stories and what happened and why and how some of those things almost didn't happen if it wasn't for a few little minor tweaks here and there that changed the whole record or changed I'll give you a classic example. Even though wasn't like in um, the COVID area ever, um, but just changing a record called "Pump It Up" for Joe Buttons to be what it's considered probably the biggest, the most successful uh, record in his entire recording career.
yeah,
Just making those little adjustments like that. So behind the records is real stories told firsthand, and I started saying, well, you know what, my future is definitely going to be public speaking. My future is definitely going to be film, television. I need to go ahead and start sharpening my pencils to be in that space. And what better way to do that was to broadcast myself, right? And IG Live allowed me to broadcast myself and not only IG Live, Clubhouse as well, because I was the only guy that I was broadcasting live from Clubhouse and IG Live at the same time. And people were like, "Yo, how you doing this? I see you on live, but I also see you on Clubhouse. How do you know?" They didn't understand how to, how to finesse both platforms and for them to, for them to work in sync. And I figured that out, and I did that, and and people were raving about that. And then I did a room, of course, called Behind the Records on Clubhouse, and I had Kevin and Russell and Leor and the whole Def Jam crew in there, and everybody was like, "Yo, this is crazy," da, 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 and just like, because we were all at home away from each other, we could never get together. So that was like a big Def Jam family reunion on that piece, man. And even Russell spit 16 bars on there. It was just a special moment, man. And so and we all know that, out of the pandemic, we, D Nice started to soar, Cassidy started to soar, people, the podcast, broadcast yourself platforms started to soar. So, I felt like, this was some place where I needed to be.
Yeah.
And, and I continue. I put the show on hiatus for a quick second just to kind of reconfigure some things, because I've seen a lot of other shows get picked up. Fat Joe Talks is now on Stars. You know what I mean? Produced by LeBron and Maverick Carter. Shout out to them. So there's people out there that are figuring out how to cross market those shows to viable, watchable programming. And I'm in the process of making something like that happen. And I see what Mace and Cameron are doing, and that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? So
I do like the fact that people were able to get out of their comfort zones to do something, and not only do something, but do it on their own. Where and like you said, Cam makes some perfect examples because they're doing sports, and the way they're doing it is like real. And I'm not saying that they're not real broadcasters, but because we know them from hip hop and from like rapping, we're not used to seeing them in front of a camera talking and talking like they know what they're talking about when it comes to sports. And we could definitely appreciate that. And of course, you have Gilly the Kid and all these other examples where
look
people
at
know
Nori.
yeah. And I'm glad that people were able to take something that they can do. And even though I think some of them aren't as good as people say they are, but at the same time, it is what it is. Not it is what it is, but you know what I'm saying. But
That's the show.
yeah, exactly the same. So,
That's the
but
show. That's
but
the
but,
show.
but it gives people the opportunity, and like you said, even with your series, behind the records. And the funny thing is that I've been doing interviews literally for like 20 plus years because I have my website. I've worked with different platforms, and for me, it was only different because um, if you ever look at old interviews from me on video, I'm never in front of the camera because I've never wanted to be. I never wanted to be the focus. Even today, people look at me like, sometimes like even me coming on, like, I'm like, listen, the focus isn't going to be on me. The focus is on Rob Love. So, how I look doesn't matter. As long as you can hear my voice, we can have a conversation. That's what matters to me. But I get it from people's from their perspective on how things should go. But I also appreciate that people want to know about other people, which is the reason why I'm doing this, and it's my friends are better than yours because I know a lot of people that are doing great things, that are doing things that other people don't know about. And I've already had people that's connected with other people I've spoken to because they saw them on here, and that's the basis for me wanting to do this because, well, I'm about to say I'm sick of interviewing celebrities, um, but the good thing is that some of my friends are actual celebrities, so it makes sense. But I don't like the having to do things in a way where it's got to be a certain way. No, I want to just come on here, talk, shoot the breeze, speak about whatever we speak about, and then take it from there. And like I said, and with you, like you've been doing that. I mean, you've probably done more interviews with me in the past couple of years because I just like literally just picked this back up. But as you stated, we don't know what it can lead to. And for me, it's not me leading it to someplace because I know that, like I said, I've been doing the industry co-sign for 20 years. You know, work with Vibe, the source, so many different companies. So I get it from that aspect. But what I want to do is try to hit some of the topics that are current. And we have an election less than a month away, and this is and the funny thing is that we hear this every 4 years about this is the most important election, but this time might actually be because I mean, like I said, but what I always tell people is what I like is that people are more engaged. What I hate is that people don't know who it is that they're voting for or talking about. And I think that I know me and you had discussed like real briefly earlier that the important thing is just doing what you feel is right for you. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to tell you what direction to lean in, but know what you're talking about because there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of, I hate to say it like this, but there's a lot of stupid people out there who are convincing smart people. And I'm like, how? And like I said, and this is not shade at anybody. I'm just saying in general, coming from both sides, and just what are your thoughts on this current election cycle? Because as we stated, in 3 weeks, we'll know like what direction this country is going in, and like I said, I don't know where you're going in your direction, but what are your thoughts with what's going on?
I'm glad that you asked that uh, because the election is going to happen the day after my birthday.
Uh-huh.
Election is going to happen the day after Sean Puffy Combs, aka Brother Love's birthday. And as you can see, maybe you can't see. Let me turn around. Oh, there we go. It
I
is
am also.
important. It is important to exercise your right to vote. And I will say this message for anyone that's listening to my voice. In this country, we've experienced lynchings, we experienced unfair, unjust situations, uh, an unequal balance of power, resources, economics, and our grandparents and their parents before them were limited in things that they can do. Walking down the street, drinking at a water fountain, going to a particular school, a theater, a supermarket. They were limited in what they can do because of this thing called hate and racism. And there's a lot of hate and racism in politics. And our ancestors and forefathers and mothers, they risked their life, their limbs, just to have the voice, just for their opinion to be considered in a ballot. So why would you waste a vote by not voting, whether you like the candidates or not? It's here. I think Ply said it. So you can even vote for the AKA or the KKK.
That's true.
Those are the choices. Um, and I think that you don't weaken or water down the process of voting. Now, I am the vote, and shout out to Maria Davis, uh, Gwen Kingsbury, uh, Deneen Walmack, uh, rest in peace, DJ Fresh, rest in peace, Jackie Allman, uh, Bob Sumner, salute to you. Salute to DJ Bring 'em Out, aka McBoo from Boogie Down Production, for helping and all the people that's been supportive of this voter education and voter registration initiative. It's not about which party you vote for. It's about making sure you preserve your right to vote. Because in this election that's coming up, that liberty can be removed from everybody. So if you're saying that, oh, my vote is not going to count, if you don't vote, your vote in the future is not going to, you ain't got to ever worry about it voting again. So that's the level of intensity. That's the level of where we are in a nutshell. Um, it's a proud position for women to stand up and say, we're going to elect our first female president. It's a position for people of color to say, we're going to elect our first female of color to the White House. We've experienced what America was, and hopefully we don't ever want to experience what America was again. So I say that in a kind of context of where I think we are and what I think the outcome is going to be. But I will also say, people, mentally prepare yourself for any scenario, because we don't know. It's uncertain. But those that are prepared will survive, and those that are not prepared will perish or become challenged. And you don't want to do that. So November 5th, make sure you get out to vote. Make sure that you are registered to vote. You know, if you're not, you can go to vote.org. You can go to Launchpad Worldwide. You can go to launchpadww.com. And you can register and check your status and all that. But yeah, make sure you exercise your vote. It's your civil liberty.
You always tell people, if 100,000 people think that one vote doesn't count, that's 100,000 votes right there.
And that can change someone's political position.
Exactly. So, but like I said, I hope that everything works out to the favors of anybody who's watching and who you're voting for.
Absolutely.
I will never dictate who you vote for, but I will question you on either side to find out if you know who you're voting for, because some people are just voting just to vote, and that's unfair on both sides, because you might be giving someone an advantage that shouldn't be getting it, or you might be taking away something from somebody that deserves it. So just do your homework. The internet is free. There's no more excuses. You don't have to wait for the library to open in the morning and get there before it closes at night. Use your phone. But yeah, that's basically it. So, but we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to. We had a conversation before the summer, and I'm always about my health. I'm just not always on top of it. And it's funny because you and I had a conversation, and because of the conversation I had with you, I went out and bought a bike so that way I can get back into shape. And I started walking and doing things of that nature. But everyone who knows me knows that I do not leave the house when it's above 80 degrees. So now I don't have that excuse anymore, because it's definitely under 80 degrees now. And I know that we and the sad part is that we usually talk about our health when people we know pass away. When someone we know our age or younger, then we become concerned about our health until the next week. And I know that you and I have spoken in the past about that. And well, I know that the last time I went to the doctor was the best numbers I've had in years when it comes to blood work and things of that nature. And I still have a long way to go. But the important thing is that um, we just have to be better with ourselves when it comes to that. Like, what are your thoughts and like I said, props to um Chino XL, Fat Man Scoop. I mean, so many people that just recently passed away that, like, we know. And I hate that looking at people's social media, then everyone's like, "Oh, too young," and "Oh, this that," and then go out and do the same exact things that the person that just passed away was doing. So, me in particular, I'm trying to eat less processed. No, let me rephrase that. I've been eating less processed foods and trying to eat more fruits and vegetables, so that way I can like my body can actually function the way it's supposed to, as opposed to fighting me for what I'm putting in it. And my thing now is just actually getting out and exercising again, getting on my bike. I've been taking walks. And what are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I appreciate our conversation that we had. Um, it was a phone call out of the blue. Didn't want nothing. Just to check on you, see how you doing. Ask you if you checked your blood pressure today. You know what I'm saying? Like just um, little simple, uh, meaningful things.
Yeah,
Wellness checks, just on your people. Um, and the physical part, and also the mental part, man. It's we in a business, man, that is highly stressful, right? Because you know we create these lifestyles for ourselves,
yeah,
right? The
definitely.
fly cars, the fly jewelry, the fly chick, the fresh clothes, the fancy food, you know what I'm saying? The trips, the destination. We create these type of cocoons for ourselves. And we live in those worlds, and we become disillusioned to what really the reality is, Um, you can't go to clubs for the rest of your life and pop bottles and expect to be, expect for your kidneys to function properly or your liver.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We should not concern ourselves with what other people think about us. We have to fall and be in love with ourselves. You know, we got women. God bless my good friend, uh, DJ PR girl Christina Clark just passed a couple of
wait a
days
minute.
ago. You didn't
She,
know that?
no, I didn't know that. Oh shit. I mean, because she's active on social media. I didn't know that.
Just the other day, bro.
Wow.
Just the other day.
I did not know that.
And um, I, I don't, I can't point a finger at who is more responsible, the men that's looking at the women or the women that want to be looked at. You know what I mean? Um, but you
Wow.
know, we got to stop as people taking shortcuts to learn to long term issues. You know, we got to constantly do the work. We got to constantly monitor our lifestyle. We got to constantly kick at that cocoon to get out of it because you know um, it will consume you.
Yeah.
Um, so I like to like I was sick myself. I had this thing called colitis. I had a bad piece of salmon, and it put me in the hospital for 3 days. And I realized that, man, it's the food that we're eating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now when I look at salmon, I look at nah, you know. And when you go to the grocery store, you see all this farm raised, this da, 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 da. Like you don't know where this food is coming from. You know what I mean? And I'm at the point where if it doesn't come out the ground, then I'm
Yeah.
not. It's not gonna go down. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like we get accustomed to we're gonna eat fast food, or we're gonna go get these steaks, or we're gonna go, what I'm saying, at this restaurant, and then we over season our food. A lot of the food, like I don't want no salt, cook with no salt, don't cook with no pepper, don't put nothing on my food, right? Because I want to taste the food in the state in which it's supposed to the flavor is supposed to have, not doctored up with accent and sazon and salt and all of that other stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's compounded. Salt is used to preserve the meat, so it's already salty in the packaging. That's what keep it on the shelves longer. You know what I'm saying? We know that historically. Then you get it, you cook it, and you add more salt on it. You know what I'm saying? And after you cook it with salt, then you serve it and you add more salt onto it. So we compounding our challenges, which gives us hypertension and high blood pressure and all this other stuff that, we don't pay attention to until it's too late, and then we don't have a balance where we got to get out there and get on the treadmill. We got to stretch every morning. We got to take vitamins, minerals, our sea moss, our bladderwrack, and our burdock and sarsaparilla and all these other things that are natural that can help us help the body heal, because the body is an amazing thing, just like the brain.
Yeah.
You got to allow it time to heal.
And that's the thing, as you stated, and with the society that we're in today, like everything is about like quickness, like when it comes to like what you put in your mouth, and it's like we're not careful, and we have companies that are making food or making items that last longer than it's supposed to, so that way they can make more money. And it's like, if I have a piece of fruit and I sit it out for a week and it spoils, that means I'm supposed to eat it within that week. But then to add chemicals and add man-made things that our body is not used to and it's not going to properly digest and break down, we keep doing that with every food that we eat. Then the next thing we know, we're basically eating garbage, and then wondering why, when we get older, we have to have our whole medicine cabinet. Our medicine cabinet, when we're younger, we'll have lotion, deodorant, whatever thing. But as we get older, it's nothing but prescription medicine, and things. And we all see those commercials where anything that is advertised, it causes problems with everything else. So we're taking 5 6 different medications that clash with each other, that's not helping us wholly, fighting off different things, and then our body has to fight what is trying to fight our bodies, trying to fight each other. This is one of the reasons why we continue to stay sick, as opposed to trying to be more conscious of eating more natural things. And like I said, I've been on that more recently. Even some of the food, like I've thrown out plastic containers. I'm using glass containers now. Like there's just certain things that I'm starting to look at now, where it's like, you know, I'm almost 60. So I'm not trying to wait until I'm in my 80s, God willing, and then decide to stop doing these things, because then my body's telling me. Your body's always going to tell you. It's just a matter of if we accept it or we listen to our bodies. And my body has been telling me recently, like, okay, you know what? You need to find things that fit us, as opposed to getting things that I'm going to have to fight, because then you're not going to be strong enough to fight it. So like, and I've noticed that even drinking more water, things of that nature. And I think that, as you stated, we just have to be more conscious of what we're putting into our bodies, so that way we can, like, instead of going to the, like, okay, I'm diabetic, and initially, like, I'm taking like my medicine so that way I could bring my blood sugar down, as opposed to eating the right foods and exercising to bring my blood sugar down. After all these years, I'm saying to myself, like, I can't keep going back and forth. So it's like, if my body's like, okay, I'm getting strong because you're putting what God has placed out there for you, I'm going to work with you. But if I have the mindset, and I think a lot of us have the mindset that if we could take a pill, we're good. Because it's like going to the gym and then having a 15-ounce steak with mad butter on a baked potatoes and everything that is defeats the purpose of you going to the gym or taking that walk. So I know I'm taking a more holistic look at what I do, so that way I can be like, I don't have any children, but I have nieces and nephews. I don't want them having to take care of me. I want to still be able to, like, hang out with them because I'm able to, not because I can't.
Yeah, everything is up here in the mind. You know what I'm saying? They say, uh, Memphis Bleak got a record called Mind Right. You know what I'm saying? When you get your mind right, your mind can tell your body, you know, that I'm just going to give you everything that you need to be the strongest you can be. And when your body is strong, it makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
You know, when people, if you ever watch elderly people and you see how they move slow, that's age, right? So an anti-aging uh, uh, element is mobility.
Yeah.
You know, if you can stretch and do yoga and be more flexible or more mobile, the aging process slows. And it's important to uh, take care of your. It's like a car, man. You're not gonna put gas in the oil tank. You're not. You know what I'm saying? And if you do that, you're gonna get a bad result.
Yeah. And we
So
have
your
to
body
realize
is your temple. You got to take care of it, man. And
that.
you know, and another thing too, I'm gonna touch on it, and some people are not gonna like me for it, man. But y'all MFs got to stop lying to each other, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Don't lie to me. If I ask you if you're all right, tell me, nah, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm fucked up at. You never know. I might have something that I can do or say to help you. But if every time I talk to you, yo, man, shit is all good, and then I find out, damn, this nigga is gone. Why? Oh, he didn't tell nobody he was sick.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't go to he didn't take his medicine like he was supposed to. Oh, or you know, he wasn't supposed to smoke weed, but he was back to smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, avoid your triggers, avoid your trigger areas. If you're from New York, and every time you come to New York, you go back into New York mode, don't come to New York. It's a trigger.
Unless it's a good thing, of course.
Yeah. This is a really good thing. And then get your ass out of there because you don't want to get triggered.
Exactly.
It's just understanding your lifestyle and what you need to do to be well, man. And wellness starts with the mind and then the body.
Exactly. But I just want to see if there's anything else you like to what are you doing now, or you have any plans on doing anything that you want people to know that you want I mean, you might be doing something you don't want anybody to disclose right now, but is there anything that's coming up or that you're interested in that you want to do, especially with, and I hate that we do this every year, this time of year, where it's like we're in the last quarter, so this, that, and the other. My mindset is that every day is a new day, so I have to, whatever goals I have, I can't base it on the fact that it's going to be January in 3 months. I can't say okay, and like I said, we're conditioned like that because I've been doing it for so many years. Where I was like, you know what, my birthday's coming up in 2 weeks, so you know what, I'll start in 2 weeks. But is there anything that you're working on that you're about to work on that you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I'm working on a book, several books actually, and uh, I am also working on a small film project that I'm going to produce and direct myself. So I'm in student mode. So I'm learning these other skills. So when I do those things, I can do them at a level of standard and high as standard.
Yeah,
Um, but for 2025, I'm just trying to stay alive, man. To be honest, and you know, and to play the rest of the year out, I just want to attach myself and practice uh, good habits that would afford me to stay alive. You know, um,
I
and
got all
it's
my bad habits down pat, so I got to get the good ones going.
right. This is what I'm saying, and that's most of us, right? That's most
Yep.
of us. Because the illest thing that ever, you know what I'm saying, that's ever been said in my journey on this planet was like, you know how you get together with your fellas on the weekend and yo, what we gonna do? We gonna go get fucked up. That was the illest fucking line ever. And now in this stage in my life, that shit was so uh, damaging because people really associate going getting fucked up with being a positive thing.
Yeah.
I don't see how going getting fucked up is positive. I'm saying fucked up is fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You have to
Like,
recover. You have to like then whatever you did while you were fucked up, you're gonna have to reevaluate. Like, yeah. So it's like,
you done fucked up. You done fucked up. You don't know what you fucked up. You're just fucked up. You can't get out of the fucked up. Fucked up is fucked up, right? But here's
yeah,
the other side of that shit. It's corny as hell to say, yo, I'm gonna go get well.
yeah.
Nobody's saying that. If you ever get around your boys, yo, what we doing for the weekend? We gonna go get well. Niggas look at you like, yo, this
What's wrong with
nigga,
this guy?
yo, I don't know about your man, and I don't know. This nigga talking about he gonna go get well. What the fuck is that?
No.
We want to go get high. We want to go get fucked up. We want to go get white boy wasted. We want to get shit faced. We want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga talking about he want to get well.
He said, I'm gonna go get some green juice. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Yo, come with me to the juice bar, man. It's popping. Chicks over there and everything. Popping bottles.
Yeah.
You sound weird. You know what I'm saying? Yo, but on a serious note, man, I just wish that I can be strong enough to help other people. And my vision and my play is all legacy plays. You know, I got a rich family history. You know, a lot of my family members are, are getting older and leaving and transitioning. And a lot of the most brilliant ideas are in the graveyard, man. And I don't want to be one of those to be starting something, any brands,
Yeah.
and leave them shits unattended. You know what I mean? So my due diligence is to work and secure the future so those brands can outlive me.
Yeah.
No.
I got to get my branding correct as well because you see it in back of me. It's just in back of me.
It's a simple solution, brother. If you need the answers, I got DM you, brother. It's simple.
No,
Very simple
no doubt.
solution. I was like, yo, say, where you at, man? You in the closet? Man, where you at?
But it's funny because I have friends that's like, yo, you need to do this or you should do this and not do that. And all I say is I can't get better if I come out perfect. So everything I'm doing is for me to be better at in the future. Now, if this is a year later and I'm doing the same exact things, yell at me.
Yeah,
Stop.
no, yeah, seriously,
You
seriously.
know, that's okay. Yeah.
That's a good strategy. My
Yeah.
first my first behind the record show, Redman was my guest, right?
Okay.
So, and this is funny. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Me and Reggie, that's I've been with him in no shameless plug, but Muddy Waters Part 2 is coming soon. So make sure y'all be ready for that. But I had Redman on the other side of my screen, right? And he has like millions of followers, right? So all of a sudden, like 10,000 people, I'm seeing the numbers go up 10,000. I'm just like, it's my first show. I don't know nothing about this shit. I'm just having a conversation with Reggie Noble.
Yeah.
Niggas is in the chat. Yo, who the fuck is this dude? Yo, how the fuck is he on with Redman? Right? So I'm looking, reading comments. I'm bugging. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. It scared the shit out of me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't my best performance at all. You know what I mean? But over time, show got better. My questions got more interesting. My guest selection got more exquisite. Um, you know, um, I see the people in the industry that's watching, because they know I know the stories and I tell the truth, right? Uh, so that is one of the things that I pride myself with, is that I didn't just go away in the dark. I didn't, because I don't have a record company behind me, that I fade away. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been at a major label since '05, '04. We
2 decades.
2024, about to be in 2025. Got the same address, got different cars, but different addresses or whatever. But you know,
Not me. I have the same address, same car. Let me stop. Go ahead.
I mean, I do one of them, but what I say is, I was never dependent on anyone else to survive. Now, don't get me wrong. I have my share of struggles, just like everybody else. It's like every other entrepreneur Negro. You feel me?
Yep.
Got to make payroll. Got to pay the staff. Got to, keep the lights on. Listen, it's the same struggle, right? But I'm built to last because I believe in myself, and I've been like this throughout my entire career.
See,
So if
that's
you
the
see
important
me at
part.
a company, it's cool, but know that, I don't need that company to hold me up. I'm going to make a way somehow.
Yeah, but that's the important thing because I told people that for as long as we've been in the industry, I've known a lot of people that were making six figures 30 years ago and can't make $6 today. So it's like, sometimes it's a matter of like um be in your purpose and do it at your pace because I think that there are a lot of people that crash and burn. I'm one of those types that's like, if I'm 72 and if I still want to do it, I'm going to do it. Like I want to be Quincy Jones. I want to do it because I can, and I'm able to, as opposed to me on the outside trying to get in because they won't let me back in because I've either crashed and burned too many times or they're just not fucking with me. So for me, it's just a matter of, yo, do what you need to do so that way you can be relevant. And I think the best thing is to be relevant first. No, not be relevant because you have to know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Have the talent if it's a talent based situation because some situations all you need is the technical aspects, and if you're good, you're good. Some things is talent. Having whatever is necessary to be successful is the first thing, but then staying relevant because you could be the smartest person on earth, but it might not be relevant to what you're doing. And a lot of people get lost in trying to do something to catch up with other people when it doesn't matter. I'm not playing sports, so why am I trying to have the best jump shot just so I can have the best jump shot? I'm not in the league, so it's not going to matter. And that might have been a bad analogy, but it's just a matter of just knowing that stick to what you feel you can do, but also know when it's time to bow out because there are people that are doing things that can't get it to a point where they get the proper support that they would need if they need it, which is why I give credit to people that have been doing even interviews on YouTube that may only get 30 views at the most, but they've been doing it for 5, 6 years. But the thing is, they're not doing it to get views. They're doing it because they enjoy doing it. And if they're not picking up an audience because they don't know that many people, it doesn't matter because they're happy doing what they do. That's another reason why when I decided to do this again, I'm looking at other people that have been doing it. I'm like, you know what? I have to give them the most respect because they're still doing it. And that's the bane of most people because in this society, everything is about numbers. Oh, yo, can you be I want you to be a guest on my show. Well, how many people are watching? And I'm like, wow. If I have a relationship with you and that's your mindset, I don't want to talk to you. It's that simple. Luckily, I know enough people that might want to talk, so that I don't have to worry about that. But I always say to people that we're so caught up in numbers nowadays that people lose the focus because remember, everybody who's doing well now didn't have numbers initially. on average. I'm not gonna say 'cause sometimes people shoot up and stay up. But I mean, Shannon Sharp didn't get the numbers he got. Like he's been doing this for years, and until that Cat Williams interview, then all of a sudden now it's a regular thing for him to get the amount of views because of that Cat Williams. So it's like I use that as an example because everyone always thinks that you have to be, right out the box be the best. Of course, you should be the best. But what I'm saying is sometimes a slow burn is just as pertinent as the shoot up and they can't get back up. So that's my thing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. You know, when I stopped looking at my numbers when I do my Instagram live, you
Yeah,
know, because those numbers don't really give you the full scope of the reach, right?
yeah,
Um, I've helped people, you know, um, get back, you know, into their strides. I've helped people overcome some mental challenges that they had on my show. I've helped people spiritually um, on my show, and you know that's the pavement to me. You know, when someone called me and say, "Oh my God, that was great," you know, I'm able to pick up the drumsticks again, or I'm able to, you know, what I'm saying, to get back to doing something that I used to do, or you know, you made me think about the challenges that I had differently. You know, and what I say to people is, you know, and I'll always ask myself this before I get involved in anything, is why? Why am I doing this? Why do I need to do this? Why does this need to happen? Because the why will give you the reason, and you can make a decision if you want to fulfill that reason or address that reason, you know. And then once you figure out the why, then you got to say, well, how do I do it? If
yeah,
I don't know how to do it myself, I got to put someone in place that knows how. And the person that knows how will always be, uh, will always have a job.
yeah,
But the person that knows why will always be the boss. So it's a boss mentality when you think about, you know, well, why I need to move this way, why I need to pay this bill, why I need not to pay that bill. You know what I'm saying? Those are boss decisions, man. And if you boss up all the time, you'll find yourself in uh, you know, it's a challenging position because being a boss comes with responsibility, especially when you got responsibilities for others. But you got to be willing to take a chance on yourself, man, because people will let you jump off the stage and they'll move out the way. And when you hit that floor, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? But when you got people that love you, they'll hold you up when you jump off that stage.
yep,
Now, I want to switch the gears a little bit and get on some fun, funny stuff.
yeah. Like
So,
your face. No, let me
say,
stop.
what's your smash number in the industry, man? How many women you smashed in the business?
I was told by my mother a real man doesn't discuss things like that, and I never will.
So she's watching right now. What would you say to her? What would you say to someone that you felt that you smashed and you dashed?
Listen,
Yo,
listen.
yo, come on, man.
I, I'm not even paying attention to Derek Pearson right now, but I've never been roped into those conversations since I was a teenager, and I'm not going to now because I respect not only women, I respect myself. So, you know, off camera, I can talk as much shit as anybody else, but the way I operate is that my mother can always see what I'm doing, and I would never want her to be.
I'm
Yeah, I don't want her to be like, "Come on," you know. everybody can clown me forever. I don't care. But like I said, I've always, and that's the reason why a lot of people always say to me like, "Why you don't?" I'm like, because that's just the way I was brought up, and I can't move away from that. So that's the type of yeah. That's not yeah.
All right,
I don't care if it was 1 or 74.
I'm not gonna
I'm
force
gonna tell
it.
you, and another thing, because then I'll start getting these phone calls and these texts, and then I'm gonna have to explain myself, and it's like, nah, no, I don't need that. I don't need that.
Well, we all know that you're a gentleman, and you keep it that way. So, I always say on my podcast, Behind the Records, which I do on Thursdays, uh, that if I don't if I don't make my guests smile, then I haven't done my job.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And no, but this is the thing. I see when people get roped into a situation like that and don't know how to get out of it. And I said to myself, I'm never gonna be that person. I will sidestep the hell out of a question, and instead of trying to make myself look like something that I'm not, and they can't. Nah, I call that the Meek Mill theory, because Meek Mill does that every time. Anytime something comes up and it's not favoring him, he makes it worse by saying shit that he shouldn't be saying. That if he didn't say anything, people wouldn't question. I'm not going to be that guy.
So, do you think, in your personal opinion, do you think that Meek Mills defended his masculinity correctly?
No, no. You either stay silent, because the more you talk, the more questions are asked. You know, and I just use him as an example only because that just came to mind. But you see people like, I'll use Jay as an example. You can say anything you want about Jay. Jay does not say a word. Jay won't say a word. So it's like, I'd rather take that approach, because it's like, you can throw as many darts as you can, and unless he says something on record, he's not going to say anything. So only thing you can do is question, but you can't keep piling on. But with
Yeah.
some, but when you start answering questions, you're gonna have to answer more questions. And if it
You,
doesn't sound right, more questions.
because Jay-Z understands why.
Yeah,
Why do I have to answer? Why do I have to respond?
exactly.
Because if I respond and I say something those are all sound bites for viral activity. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So words have power, and you got to really be conscious of what you say to people. Um, but
And remember, I work in media. I've crossed people a couple of times. I'm like, I can't do a proper follow up, because then I might destroy somebody's career. So
right,
I'm more conscious on how I respond, because I see that people respond in ways where I'm like, I'm not even gonna follow up, because then, no, that's just like, I have morals, questionable ones, but I have morals.
so what would be an example of a questionable moral to you?
Come on, man.
Yo, I'm good, baby. I'm good.
Come on, man.
Yo, my friends are better than yours.
That's like asking me how many Diddy parties I've been to. I mean,
Hey,
come
that's a good
on.
question. That's a good question.
None recently. I can tell you that much.
Oh, what was the last one? White, black,
Years. I
or
mean, I can't remember. It was.
or skin tone?
I'll put it to you this way: the last party I went to that was a Sean Combs party was when they were still calling him maybe P Diddy.
Oh, okay.
And, like, I never maybe even Puff. Well, I don't know, even Puff or Puff. No, Puff
Right. So
Daddy.
let me see. How did you feel when Puff changed his name to Love?
I knew that something was coming. I knew something was coming down the pipe. Pause. Um, 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 I felt like he felt that he needed to put his self in a different, more positive direction because something was coming down, or maybe his spirit didn't feel right, whatever. But when the love aspect came around for the R&B stuff, I get it. But I'm like, I'm a skeptical person anyway, and based on stories I've heard over the years, um, and patterns. People have patterns. We know too many people that have done too many things, and when they're trying to either get right or trying to um do things in a way where their past doesn't catch up with them, they start to veer from the direction you're not expecting them to. And then when it hits, and it's like, oh, now I know why.
Mm,
Strictly speculation. Like I said, I knew nothing until everyone else knew. So
yeah. Well, I mean, my opinion on it, man, is like I said, me and Puff were born on the same day. We had gray hair in the same spot. We met
wait.
each
Before you
other.
wait. I'm gonna tell you what's up. Before you go on, when people talk about McGrace, I was like, Puff punked out because it was
Yeah, he
Puff,
did. He
you, and
did. He
me.
did. He
He had
did.
the same
He
thing,
should
and
have
then Puff
kept it.
died it.
He should have kept it.
And he died it. That's where he went wrong.
He should have kept it.
That's where he went wrong. But I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. He should have kept it. He should have kept it the way he should have kept it that way. You
If
know?
he kept it, he'd be in a different situation right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But blessings to the Combs family, blessings to anyone that's been impacted by his presence. And man, it's just it's I, you know, God, if I become a billionaire, I promise I won't give it back.
And
I
see that,
won't give it back.
and that's another thing. Anything that happens to me, and I like you said, become a billionaire or whatever, no one can come after me for anything. Maybe me being snarky, me being sarcastic, me being disrespectful, but nothing illegal.
Yeah, let's talk
Nothing.
about your disrespect, man. Let's just keep it 100% funky. So, I forget who room I was in on Clubhouse, and it was like, yeah, it's Rob Love in the audience. Let's bring them up, right? So they brought me up, right? And somebody put me in the goulash. And I think that somebody was you, said. Why did you put me in the goulash on Clubhouse?
I well, you probably talking about the DJ Scratch rooms because I was a moderator in his room.
DJ Scratch Room. Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly who room it was.
If I don't bring you up, I don't put anybody down. So yes, I'm putting it on Scratch.
Oh no, it wasn't
I'll put
Scratch,
it
it
on.
was
I mean, it may have been someone else, but
you.
people know me well enough to know that I take responsibilities for everything I do.
Well, you took the hit. You
If
took
I
the
did,
charge for him.
I did, well, then I must have done it. I don't
Yeah, you
recall right
did
now.
do
Oh, so
it.
if I admitted it then I definitely did it.
Yeah, you did. You admitted
And I can't remember why.
it.
Oh yeah, but if I, because you know me, if I say something, I'm not going to say something just to say something, especially if it's like might be detrimental. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Nah, I didn't take it harsh. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I mean,
I just, I just couldn't say anything. I had no voice after that. I was in the goulash. He put me in the audience. But people don't know what the goulash is, right? So Clubhouse is set up where you got moderators and you got panels, right? It's like a DS. You got panels up there and you got people that are talking, right? They're all talking heads, right? So, so as a moderator, if you got a room and you create, like you make said a moderator and then said see, so
like I'm
whoever's
security. I'm basically security.
yeah. So so somebody brought, and it's probably DJ Scratch that brought me up, to be on the panel, and then one of the other moderators throw you in the audience. When you ain't got no voice, all you can do is listen. So
But
this guy did that. This
no,
guy,
but if Scratch
this
brought you
guy
up, I
did that.
definitely would have brought you down. But or maybe I brought you up and I wasn't supposed to. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was fun though. We laughed like I don't know what, but it was a good time. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it. I
you
appreciate
know.
it. I didn't feel a way about it.
But one thing people know about me, I'm going to admit when I do something. Like I said, I guess I forgot. But if you said that I said something, then yes, because I'm not taking responsibility for anybody else's. I'm not going to take the heat for anybody unless they're giving me money and it's worth it. No, but I can't remember. Like I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone what 2 3 years ago. So
Yo,
yeah, I guess I did.
if you was a judge in the Diddy trial or the Diddy case, and Diddy came to you with $50 million to be bond out, would you let him out?
Um, if it's about right and wrong, and it's about like the judge definitely knows more than the public, and if I felt that his being free would be detrimental to anyone else or his victims, I would deny bail as well. Because remember, I came up moralistically, which is the reason why I stopped hanging with certain people at certain times when people started doing certain things. I've always told people if I wanted to be rich in this industry, I would have been rich because I would have followed the crowd. But when I saw what the crowd was doing, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to knock anybody for what they do. I'm not going to knock the hustle, but I'm not going to involve myself in something. And I've always said this, and I will continue to say this. If it's something that I can't say in front of my mother or do in front of my mother, I'm not doing it. Not because it's my mother, but because that's how I feel. Like if I do something, my mother brought us up on one, take responsibilities for your actions. And if you're going to do something, do it because you want to do it. So that's what I'm saying. So if I'm ashamed to do something, I'm not going to do it. That's the reason why I never sold drugs. That's the reason why I never hit women. That's the reason, like the things that I've never done that other people I know have done, and it was easy for them to do. I have a conscience, or even if I've had a conscience, my thinking is if I can accept the consequences of my actions, I'll do it. So if me selling drugs, the consequence might be death or jail. I'm not doing it because I don't want to be. I don't want to die, and I'm not going to jail. Me hitting a woman. I mean, like I said, just things that I don't feel comfortable because that's not who I am. And there's been situations where I may have wanted to choke the shit out of several women in my life, but I never will because one, I was brought up properly, and two, I can't accept the responsibilities of what will happen after that because man to man fighting, it's mutual combat. But I've always felt because of like the strong upbringing from my parents that I can't engage in things that I'm going to not take responsibility for. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm going to take responsibility. Now, I might not say anything about it, but if I take responsibility, I'm going to take responsibility. So I'm not going to do anything that I won't feel comfortable taking responsibility for.
So, in your opinion, what is a chokeable offense?
Man, it depends on the mood, man. There's no right answer because no one should be choked.
Oh, wait a minute. It depends on what position you in.
But but yeah, but yeah,
Are you the
that's
choking type? Did you do choke though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
huh?
have you choked before?
Come on, man.
Yeah, all right. Was question.
I've never choked a woman. I've never done anything to a woman that I can't. Oh, perfect example when no, I'm not gonna say that. Um um I also know that if I get in a headspace where I would want to, it's the best time to walk away, turn around, which I've done the few times I felt like it. I've never wanted to hit a woman, not in that way. But like I said, if it's something that I could be put in jail for, I'm not doing it. Which is the reason why, like I said, I haven't done a lot of things. I haven't done a lot of things because if I do this, there's a possibility I'm going to jail. Okay, I'm not doing it. I'll be poor, broke, and lonely, and okay with that because that means I don't have to worry about being in jail or being in some situation where my life is at risk or I'm always looking over my back. And that's another reason why I say to people that even with the Diddy situation, because everyone's piling on him, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pile on him. But when people ask me like, well, this, that, and the other, well, if you were doing this, and I'm like, listen, if I'm doing some of the things that he's accused of, I deserve whatever punishment that comes with it. I'm always gonna say that. But I've never done anything that can place me in that vein. And if anyone says that, they're definitely lying. Yes, I have an attitude at times. Yes, I fought people at times. But if it's self defense, that's different. But if it's just the dumb shit intimidation, no, nah. I love life too much.
So let me ask you a question. This is a childhood question, right? And this is probably the last thing I'm going to ask. Right? What was your favorite cereal? And you have to name at least two growing up.
Crunch berries and it's a strawberry flavor with marshmallows. Something like crunchberry and something berry. What's Choco? It was wait. Ah, shit. Twix, not Twix. Yeah, Twix. No,
Tricks
Twix
of
is
a
the candy
kid.
bar. No, Twix is the candy bar. Tricks.
Tricks.
Twix is for
Tricks.
kids. Tricks. Tricks.
Yo, so it's really safe to say that you kind of grew up with a very kind of mid-class to upper-class neighborhood, right?
Yeah, I'm from a middle class. But I'm gonna tell you what's funny because I have friends who grew up in the projects that they call me middle class, and but for them that's offensive. That's like me calling somebody rich. But I've told people that I grew up middle class but didn't know it until I got older because when I started going to other people's houses and like my cousins and them, like what I thought was poor wasn't poor. Both my parents worked. We never missed a meal. Would never was on any type of social services. None of that. But like my cousins, friends, people I would visit their house, I would go like I grew up in the Bronx. So I would go like to Rosedale houses, Soundview, and I'm looking at people's apartments like, oh my god, like, and then hearing stories, and realizing that I was middle class. I'm thinking I'm poor because like I knew I wasn't good times poor, but I also knew I wasn't Cosby Show rich. Or I mean Cosby Show. Cosby Show was middle class in my eyes, but it was actually upper middle class in theory. They had their own house. I mean, they had the things that upper middle. We didn't have our own house, but we had everything else. We need a car, everything. So it's like we never went for anything. We never went for nothing, as they say. So I did grow up middle class. I'm poor now, but I grew up, But I grew up thinking that we were poor, and yeah, my views changed like in my teenage years when I started going out more and seeing more people. And it's like, yeah, we're not poor. I don't know what a food stamp is. Like, and the thing is, but I never look down on anybody. I never look down on people. But if you're trying to snap, snap with a thing back in the days. Yeah, if you got food stamps and I know about it, I'm snapping at you guys food stamps because I don't. Because food stamps is always looked upon as being poor.
Right.
And I tell people being poor and being broke are two different things.
Right.
I've never been poor. I've been broke, but I've never been poor.
So when you went to your cousin's house, they had like
Don't
cornflakes,
do that. Oh,
special bread. You see what I just did?
But the thing is, we had cornflakes and things of that nature. But you asked my favorite.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So
the,
having cornflakes doesn't make you poor unless that's something I didn't know because I
so
wasn't poor.
nah. I mean, I'm just saying, when you boil it on the budget, you get the cornflakes, so you can just add the sugar to make Frosted Flakes, right? You can't get the Frosted Flakes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. You could get Frosted Flakes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Right? It's decisions, right? You get in there. Mom is like, all right, which one? Cornflakes, Frosted Flakes, Frosted Mini Wheats.
So you
Wheat
had an
things
angle.
with,
You had an
huh?
angle. But the cereals I did mention were sugar filled.
Yeah, they always say, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what
So
I'm saying? Like, yo, your cereals of choice were already
yeah,
sugar.
pre-sweetened. Like if I said Rice Krispies or
Yo,
cornflakes, yeah, you had to add sugar.
yeah, I just think maybe that's a poll, right? That's a poll that we should fucking take. Yo, what is your
I
favorite
never thought
cereal?
about that though.
Yo, no, I just thought about that in this moment, just in this moment. I've
Yeah,
never
that's
thought
funny.
about
Because Frosted Flakes, Frosted Flakes and cornflakes are two different
that. They're the same shit.
classes. It's the same shit with two different classes. You bought Frosted Flakes, that means you had that extra money to buy with the sugar already on it.
That part right
Cornflakes,
there.
you had to find.
Cornflakes, you put syrup in it. All kinds of different honey.
That's why I said Rice Krispies, because didn't they also have Well, they had another cereal that was kind of like Rice Krispies, well, corn puffs. Well, not really. That wasn't right. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, different. Yeah, you're right.
Yo, man, this is great, man. I'm glad we
I
had
never
this
thought about
conversation.
that though.
Yeah, no, I just thought about it in this moment, man. Just thought
No,
about it in this moment.
but okay, you grew up in Brooklyn.
Yep.
So, how many times did you witness people on your block robbing their own friends?
Because there's a statute of limitation. I probably was
Listen,
one of those guys.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny, because Brooklyn was the only borough that, like, anywhere, like, you could be in any borough, it could be horrible, bad, whatever, but Brooklyn was the only borough where people robbed each other from their own neighborhood. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, no, people took pride in robbing people that they knew.
That's what I'm saying, and that was
Yeah, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
well, with us it's per like neighborhood, not on the same block, not on the same like I'm from Soundview. I can rob somebody from Parkchester. That's cool, but I can't rob somebody from Soundview if I'm from Soundview, unless it's a personal thing and we're fighting, that type of thing. But in Brooklyn, it was such a regular occurrence where it was like when I found out, I'm like, it's a thing. I was like, wait, people actually rob each other, and then the next day they'll still be hanging out, and they get robbed at the end of the week. Like, Brooklyn was a different animal.
Yo, I grew up in a building where I went to school with the landlord's kids, and the landlord kids used to steal the rent money and treat us.
With the money they stole from your parents, that
Yo, my parents paid the rent, and the landlord kids steal the money and treat the kids in the building.
that's some Robin Hood shit,
I thought that shit was the coolest shit because
because you benefited.
I ain't never had so much McDonald's every day. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why they would do it. I don't know. Buy friends and shit. I don't know. I don't know. I was a
and
kid.
we came up at a time where there was like 3,000 murders in the city, so it was not pleasant, and yeah, I went to music and art, and music and art, of course, was in Manhattan, and music and art specialized high school where people from each borough was going. So, everybody in the city is used to going to the high school, the local high school, right? But when I first got in touch with Brooklyn dudes, 5%ers, and I mean, just the whole culture was just so crazy. And then, like, every borough had a personality. And in Manhattan, it was a difference between Manhattan and Harlem. You could be from Manhattan, but if you're from Harlem is in Manhattan, but you can tell the difference between being in Manhattan and being in Harlem, and even being from the Bronx. Now, the Bronx and Harlem was always like, they were like close brothers. Harlem was definitely on more shit, but Bronx, we had some sense at times. But Brooklyn and Queens, Brooklyn was just wild just because they had nothing else to do. They knew nothing else. Queens were a lot of guys who grew up middle class, but had to act like they were poor and be ignorant. And it's like I didn't understand it. It's like you live in a house. If you're coming from school, you got to take a bus or train to another bus, then walk to a house that your parents pay for. And you want to come to school or you want to come out, you want to go to the club and act like you're from the dirty projects and you have nothing. I never understood that. And it was mostly Queens guys that did that. Brooklyn, they're dirty regardless.
Have you ever jumped the turnstile?
Of course.
And what was the quote that you used to hear when you jumped the turnstile?
Nigga, get back over here. Now let me stop. The quote. We're going back 50 years now, so
come on, you can never forget this, man.
Maybe it was different in the Bronx because I didn't jump the turnstile too often.
Well, yeah, so
I've always been a good guy of my life.
The attendant in the booth will get on the speaker and say, "Pay your fare."
Oh yeah. I thought you meant like like between us or whatever. Yeah, pay your fare.
Pay your fare, right? And as soon as you hear that shit, then you start looking around for the police.
Or you start running. Yeah, is it a adjoining staircase? You either run down or run up. So as they come around, they don't see you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Good old days, man. I had the upbringing, man, back when I was up. Do you remember the blackouts?
Of course.
Where were you at the blackout?
Well, the last blackout, I was already an adult. I walked from like 14th Street all the way up to Harlem. Now the one at 76, I think we was actually in my father's car when it took place.
Really?
But all the lights went out, and I never witnessed any looting or anything like that because we lived in a neighborhood where we had parks and grass, and you had to take a bus.
And a doorman. And the doorman.
Oh,
right?
That came later, but and like I said, I'm never gonna be that guy that's gonna act like I grew up in the projects. Because I have friends like that as well. No, I can't let them. I'm like, Money. There are ignorant people that grow up middle. There's a lot of ignorant people in the middle class. There might be more because the poor ones do it for survival purposes. You're middle class. You're doing it because you're either dumb or you're ignorant.
Right.
Like, you're robbing people when your parents make $100,000 a year and they give you everything. I never understood that. Never understood that.
Because some people want to seem like they're dangerous, one, and people want to seem like they're cool.
You can be cool and dangerous without being ignorant. No, I mean, but when you're young, when you're younger in that state of mind, I mean, I'm not gonna say I get it because I have friends that lived on my block that would go out and rob people, and it's like your mother makes 80,000 a year. So it's like I never understood the mentality, but I'm like my mother. I was too scared of my parents.
That's the problem.
My mother made it. My mother made it known that if I did something illegal, I don't have to worry about the cops. As a matter of fact, she used to tell us that we're better off being caught by the cops. Do you know how that works on your psyche when you're like 8, 9 years old? When your mother's like, "Yeah, you go out there and commit a crime. Yeah, let the cop." And remember, police brutality was always a thing. So my mother's basically warning me that, I'm better off being brutalized by police officers than to come home to deal with her. Guess what? I'm not taking that chance. I'm not taking. To this day, I'm still not taking that chance.
I don't know. I think in this day and time, I'll take the severe lashing from a parent over police brutality.
You didn't know my mother.
Okay.
And my mother wasn't abusive at all. But she was a great parent because none of her first she got her first grandchild when her youngest was 24. And when my brother got his girlfriend pregnant, who he ended up marrying, he was scared to tell my mother. I'm like, nigga, you're out on your own. You're 24. What do you mean you're scared to tell your mother? That's how. That's how. That's why. Like I tell people, like that's why I have the morals I have, because if it wasn't morals, it was fear.
Were you guys Similac babies?
Nah.
So y'all was breastfed.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, as far as I know, I mean,
that explains it.
It could be both. I don't know. I didn't have those. Let me ask my mother right now.
I really don't know.
You know, I'm like, Mom, was I breastfed? You know?
Yeah, off the record, man. You need a chance to ask your mom.
That's not a question a 56-year-old man should be asking his 76-year-old mother. 15, 16, it might be out of curiosity. Okay, let me ask that question. But 56, it's like, do you have some type of something that you want to get your chest? I'm not asking my mother. And I was about to say, like,
Somebody said, "Hold on, Sonny, you want something now?"
And my mother's the youngest out of 18 children.
18 children? Wow, man. How many cousins and
From
stuff
the South. Huh?
How many cousins and stuff you got?
Man, we lost count.
Damn. That's a blessing, though.
We got so many cousins. Actually, we have a little family reunion next month. And like it's just too many of us.
Yeah, let me know what you're gonna wear, man. I must not shave, and I'm gonna show up with the same outfit, and let's see if they. Hey, look, this Junebug, man, it's little Cedric right there.
One thing about my family, we don't look alike, but we all have certain traits where we know that we're family.
Oh, okay.
They'll sniff you out in a second.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm not gonna play that game.
And you know, both. Well, my father's from Georgia, my mother's from South Carolina, but it's my mother's family from South Carolina that, like I said, has like 1 million children.
So you have Geechee.
I've heard. I've heard that comment. You know, when we were younger, like we used to go down south. That had to do with curly hair, right?
Nah, man.
No, I forgot what it was. Something I can't remember. But no.
So they talk like they from the Caribbean?
No, they're from the South, idiot.
I'm saying, you know, some people in the South talk like they from one of the islands.
Nah, strictly South. Strictly South. Southern.
So you're not so you don't have no Jamaican in you.
No. Southern.
You never had no Jamaican in you, pause.
Nope. Don't play that game with me. And see, I was about to say I've been to some Jamaicans, but I was like, let me not go there. And you're gonna say some shit like that.
Oh man.
Not I.
Yo, Said this is great, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
Any other thing? You wanna snap on me right now? Anything else you want to say to me, man?
Nah, I'm good. I'm just getting ready to start my weekend. By continuously nothing, but I'm saying by working. Well, I'm definitely going to the gym because this was the first week since maybe like I was in my 40s. Listen to me, right? Where I went to a party every day this week except last night and tonight. I went out like I had a family function Sunday evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was literally out for industry events. I rarely do 2 straight nights. So for me to do 3 straight nights, and I was supposed to go to a place last night, but I'm like, nah, I'm not going anywhere. So I felt good, but in doing that, like I didn't get a chance to go work out like I wanted to because I worked out last week, and I started working out again last week. I went 3 days last week, and then like I said, Sunday I couldn't go, and like I said, after I finished work and did stuff, I didn't have the chance. So I'm definitely going, probably right after this, and going back to the gym. So
that's what's up. So what dating app do you use?
What?
Dating app.
Facebook.
That's what you use?
I don't use dating apps.
I'm
not, but I'm not going to say that I've never been on any, but I don't use dating apps. I've been on dating apps.
What was your experience like on a dating app?
Practically none.
None?
I guess they don't like me. They don't find me attractive.
They didn't swipe left?
I'm too picky. I'm too picky. You know, if you don't look like Yeah, I'm too picky.
Like what? Tell me that. Paint the picture of what you should look like if you want to date Big CED.
Shit, I mean, I can show you a couple of photos of some exes, like
Nah,
I
I don't
mean,
want no. The names has been changed to protect the innocent.
no, I mean, one thing that even
Athletic, voluptuous, light skin, brown skin, dark skin, no skin, hair, no hair, mustache, no mustache.
I don't have a type. I just know what I like when I see it.
Oh, okay. That part. That's why you're a great guy. Said thank you for considering me a friend. And
I'm gonna say,
and
is it my turn to be doing what you're doing?
oh, I don't know.
This ain't behind. This
I
ain't
don't know.
behind. I'm like, I'm the one that's supposed to be ending it. You're like, thank you for
Oh,
this, that, other. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to be
yo,
doing
one of the
it.
hardest things that I did, man, when I interviewed Dayton. I'm like, yo, this dude's a real journalist.
Dayton don't even want to interview with me.
Are you serious?
It's funny. I said to him literally, this was like not even 3 days ago. I said, yo, because I sent him my last whatever one I sent the last one, and he's like, I was like, yo, so when we go talk, he said, I'll do your little podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that was mad disrespectful.
Oh man,
Mad disrespectful. But I didn't
that's
mean to cut
the
you off, but that was mad disrespectful. I'll do your little podcast. I'm like, wow.
that's the homie.
What were you saying? You when you were talking to Dayton as far as
No, I'm just saying. I was just it's I'm not a journalist, right? So here I am. I'm talking to a real journalist. I was kind of like a little nervous, trying to gauge if I was doing well or not.
no. And it's funny because even when I'm on people's like shows and stuff like that, like sometimes I look at them like, are you gonna ask me a follow-up question or should I continue? Like, but it's kind of hard because everyone has a different style. And even when I'm talking, like I want people to get what they say out, but at the same time, I don't want to interrupt. But like, so it's like, and I've been doing this for years, and I can appreciate like people like Sway and Charlemagne, and like people who do it like on such a regular basis where it's second nature to them.
Right.
I still question myself sometimes. I'd be like, should I? Well, okay. Well, let me ask. Like Nori be like, I'll be having my Nori moments sometimes where I'm like, I want to ask, but I really don't want to ask, but I'm going to ask, but should I ask? But that's
How
part of
should
it.
I ask? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and what I like about what I'm doing with this, with my friends are better than yours. I know everybody I'm talking to,
Right.
so I
That
know
makes it funny.
one, I know what I can get away with. Two, I know the type of questions I can ask without anybody being offended. And if you're offended, I'm gonna look at you like, nigga, it's me. Like you can't be offended. But anyway, I appreciate your time, your conversation, your thoughts, everything that went along with it, except the couple of dumb questions you asked me.
a couple of questions that you refuse to answer.
Try,
That you plead the fifth.
trying to set me up so somebody can take a clip. Next thing you know, like you know,
Hey man, I'm trying to help your show go viral, man.
and that's the thing nowadays. People be taking
Yo.
clips, out of context. I say something like, "Yeah, when I went inside him, it's like, see, look, and all you hear is when I went inside him." Then cut it up with when I was hanging with Puffy. Yeah, when I went inside him, it's like, oh, all of a sudden, oh, you know who did that? I just saw it. Donnell Rollins
Rollins? Yeah.
when he was on the Breakfast
Breakfast Club?
Club, and he had a picture where he was sitting in front of he said he was sitting in front of Puff and he was sitting in between Puff's legs. He did a whole show, and that was genius of him. He did a whole show where he called up his friends to question about like him being at Diddy parties as well as how he looked in those pictures, because people like someone was like, "Your son, you were in between his legs." Like, I wasn't between his legs, and it was a good show. I literally just saw it yesterday, and I said I can appreciate what he did. Like he took a narrative and he called Charlemagne. And Charlamagne was like, "Yo, all I know is you right between his legs, nigga. I want to between his legs." And this, check it out if you can't check it out, because I didn't even know he had a podcast until like last week. So I enjoyed watching because I happened to see like even watching something like that. I wanted to watch the when he appeared on the Breakfast Club. So, and
You got
I appreciate you reversing it because I don't want to be so serious where like I want people to have fun as well. Coincidentally, the people I talk to, we're gonna have fun anyway because we know each other. The funniest one I've done so far, well, between Special Ed and Drez, because like we're idiots to each other in real life, so it definitely comes out on screen. Like we're
right.
idiots to each other in real life, but I try not to be an idiot until like later. But you know, like right off the bat, like if you look at the Special Ed and the Drez, they start right away. They start right away. And it's like money, let me introduce you first before you start dissing me. So, but those are the ones that have gotten the most views because, I mean, of course, name recognition. But when people first see something and they see it could be interesting, then right away they like, oh, then they want to watch it more. So, you know, but I appreciate that though. You know,
Yeah, man, absolutely. Anytime, brother.
but enjoy the rest of the year. You know, good luck when you put the pen to the pad to get that book going. And to anybody that can't read, Rob Love, CEO Launchpad Worldwide, and I'm Big Said. And my friends are better than yours, even though today doesn't count as a friend, but you know, we're gonna still go with the narrative that my friends are better than yours. So once
Yeah, just
again, go ahead.
just just slash out the friends and put associate.
Just put down my no, just put down featuring Rob Love. Don't even have a title, just put down featuring Rob Love.
All right, man.
All right,
Thank you.
peoples, we out. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this.
Thank you
Until
for
next
having me. No Diddy.
I was gonna say yeah. Pause. I've never had Rob, so let's keep that.